Life has a way of surprising us, and sometimes that means finding ourselves single again. But at Single Again with LFA and Barbs, we believe in embracing change and finding beauty in every moment.
Join our community of strong individuals who are ready to take action and create a life they love. Together, we'll navigate the twists and turns of being single again, finding beauty in every moment. So whether you're redefining your goals, finding new passions, or simply seeking connection, let's embark on this beautiful journey together.
Search for Single Again with LFA and Barbs on your favorite podcast platform. It's time to embrace a single again status and live a life that's lively, encouraging, and beautiful.
Single Again
with LFA and Barbs,
where your story
begins.
Hello, everybody, and welcome again to an intriguing, exciting episode of Single Again with LFA and Bab. Hi, Bab.
Hi, everyone.
It's so nice having you back here with us.
Yes, here we are again.
Yes, we are here, and we're doing this.
Yes, we are.
Our very first launch, we talked about, oh no, I'm single again. Then what? The decision-making process. We talked about what is next. And I did remember we did touch a little bit on our culture, but I know there is a lot to explore in the culture. So we're going to put that aside for now.
Yeah.
And today I know we did mention a little bit on assessing our feelings, but today I want us to talk more about assessing our feelings.
That's a good place, yeah.
So for you, Barbara, I'm gonna put you on the spot.
That's all right. I'm here because I'm single again. So yes, it's fine. Yeah.
When you experienced being single again, how were you able to assess your feeling?
Immediately, I'm not in the right space or in the frame of mind to be doing an assessing, because even though I have been the person that says, actually, enough is enough. I don't want this relationship again. I'm stepping out. Yet, it's very difficult. I have made the decision, whether I made the decision because I sat down and looked at my feelings, but I know I didn't, because it's like anything. When we're making this life-changing decisions, we're looking at the environment. We're not looking at our feelings. We're looking at, in the environment, what is this man doing for me? How is it impacting my children? How really is everything? When people are outside, what do they see us? How are we? What are we as a couple? So in all of this, even though subconsciously I'm here because I'm feeling bad, I don't think you stop, or I stopped to assess my feelings until very, very later on, because the adrenaline kicks in. Okay, this is a very fearful decision to make, but I've made it. And I know people look at you as, oh, you're strong, you've done it, you've seen a solicitor, you've tried to get this, you're just saying, I don't really have much choice. I no longer want to be a couple. I'm going to be single. So it is the situations, and this is sometimes the things that we say, what life has thrown at me. So then I've made the decision, but I don't think that was in the very moment of assessing my feelings. Now, when I've stepped out, then I'm start to think about how I feel. And how I feel, covered a whole lot of spectrum. When I think back to say, going through the separation and moving on, my feelings were shame, embarrassment, how do I explain myself to people? What are people thinking? That, it's more like they're looking at me and thinking, oh, she can't keep a man. So my feelings are bubbled up, and sometimes actually you make a decision, all right, I'm going to be defensive, and if somebody wants to attack me and judge me, I'm going to be like this, or constantly explaining myself. Because I want people to receive me and to accept me and actually get it from my point of view. But there's always two sides to every story.
Yeah, yeah. And
So,
just to piggyback on that, I
yeah.
think my own in my own situation, I think I got to a place even when I was in the marriage where I figured that I don't care what anybody says because this is my life. And
Yeah.
when I was making that decision, that was when Osinachi in Nigeria, when she died. And I was there on my nails and I was like, God, do you want my situation to be like that?
Yeah, the singer.
So yes, the gospel
Yes.
singer. And I was like, I do not want to die. And it's so funny. I was talking with my dad the other day and I said, you know what, August 13th, if it wasn't for God, they probably would have been remembering me in my grave. My situation was that serious.
Yes.
So I was like, yeah. So I was past that stage where I had already assessed my feeling. But I think the main thing for me was, what will my children think? I wasn't thinking about me per se. And then before I concluded, I was at a place where initially I thought, because I remembered prior our wedding, a lot of people had predicted that it wouldn't work, and especially his parents. And initially that was my thought before I finally made up my decision when I was assessing how I'm feeling about the thoughts, because you're a social worker, I'm a social worker. There is a pre-contemplation stage, there is the contemplation stage, and there is the post-contemplation. That is where you made up your mind. So prior the contemplation stage, I was like, what will people think? Oh goodness, we go to church together. What will the church people say? And at that time, I stopped going to church with him because a lot of things happen with the church brothers and I'm throwing this out there because a lot of the time, women are gullible to that fact. Maybe we're just not oblivious to that. That, because he's a church brother, because he goes to the church, we'll have a good, perfect home. I thought so at the time in my life, but I was mistaken. I was way mistaken. I was thrown under the bus a lot of time. And so when I was assessing my feelings, I think because I had already known what I want or what I wanted, it was something I honestly would say I prayed for. I prayed my way out of that marriage, So, but to me, the feelings was more of hurt towards my kids. And being a social worker, the first thing that's gonna come to your mind is trauma.
Your story begins here. Single Again with LFA and Barbs.
But I mean, for a relationship to get to a stage where you don't want it and you want to be out, what is it? Because it's domestic abuse. And sometimes it's, we try we try to cover it because you would have gone through, and I know I did, you go psychological, financial, emotional abuse before you're actually able to come out. Because if you're not going through this, then you're not going to come out of it. Then the relationship was good. And yes, I think this scenario of being with a guy because we're in the same church, and therefore I believe I'm expecting him to have a better value base. And I also thought the idea is, if a person is a believer and so something go wrong, we have the church to bring us back, to actually bring us back to the base. When the Bible says, go back to your first love, as in loving Christ all over and over and over again. If the man I'm with is a Christian and they're supposed to have the same value base as a Christian, a loving husband, the Bible says, love your wife more than you would yourself, like Christ died for the church. And all of those things are there. But I'm not seeing it in this person. I thought if I was with a person who's a believer, then that would be something that will be quickly picked up by the church and help you back to base. At the same time, the church is also able to do it. Sometimes is that whether they're saying well, they can only work on information that they know. So as a couple, how much did we give it to the pastor? How much did we give to the church leaders and say, you know what, this is what's going wrong here, that's what's going wrong around here, we need you to intercede. So yes, the church can be there for couples, but I think it's the ones that, if they're very close to people, but otherwise you're almost there thinking maybe people are even waiting for you to fall short in your relationship, so that they can say, oh wow, like you said, they didn't expect the relationship to succeed anyway. So it's like everybody's trying to do things to pull it apart. So for me, I think some of these feelings are, so we start processing our feelings way before we leave the relationship. But then when you're out of the relationship, then you're on the other side of the feeling analysis, because pre the separation, my feelings are, do I really want to be here? Or what is it that I'm doing that is not making this right? So I want to really, let me find a solution. Can somebody, and then I'll talk to somebody and hope they'll give you a good advice, or they'll even make you feel worse. And then you turn it on, and then the very thing that you're trying to make it better or thinking it should change, it gets worse. Then you don't know where you're going with it. So the feelings are processed way back. This is when, if one can, work it out and pinpoint, actually, at what point did I become not attractive to him anymore? Did he become not attractive to me anymore? Did he start not listening to me? Or did I find him irritating? Because if we could ever always go back to that point when we analyze our feelings, then perhaps a lot of separations can be, will save a lot of, more of the abuse.
Something I think, and I am just going to throw this out there. I know some churches now are trying to correct that, to right that wrong. I remembered when I was in my relationship, and I was wondering, like, what is the church doing to educate these single guys? Because a lot of the time we're fixated on the women, but we are kind of blindsided to the men. We expect, and that's where we pull in a little from our culture as well comes in, that the woman is supposed to do this, that, A, B, C, and D, and the man is only supposed to do what?
Be available.
Yes, be available. Yeah, and especially in the African community, where we believe, especially people of our age believe that the woman should be submissive and the man should be the provider in their house.
Life has a way of surprising us, and sometimes that means finding ourselves single again. But that's Single Again with LFA&BARBS. We believe in embracing change and finding beauty in every moment.